I can have your attention. If I don't have your attention, let me get your attention. Ladies and gentlemen.
The FirstDownline.com podcast.
The FirstDownline.com podcast.
Looks like they're going to measure here. Do you think they got the first down?
Now remember that the first down line is not official.
Your official enough download for the latest in sports and technology.
Download it.
Well, welcome in. This is the FirstDownline.com podcast. We appreciate you joining us and getting a chance to talk about the latest and technology. Brett Sommers is with us as we have him coming to us from, Google Hangouts for the first time. This is something different than we've done ever before with our Google Hangouts or with our podcast, and that's pretty exciting. So we'll get a chance to welcome Brett in just a moment as I see you, Brett, but I got you on mute here, so double check that probably because of that YouTube video intro. If you have an option for fixing that, then we'll get you live into the Google Hangout here. So what we're going to do is what we've been doing. So that involves going through things that we hope will be exciting for you and useful. How's it going? Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you now.
All right, that's good. That's good to hear. Yeah, we bounced back and forth between this YouTube. Get that off there. Okay, now I can see you just fine. All right, Brett Sommers is here. You've seen his work, Brett A. Sommers. You can follow him on Twitter at BA Sports Writer. You got some stuff we're going to share with the audience in just a little bit, which is pretty exciting. But again, the idea of the Google Hangout podcast is to get you involved. What we're hoping for is a chance for you to watch the show live. There's a Q&A function within Google Hangouts. There's a whole bunch of stuff that Hangouts on Air provides, so we're pretty stoked about that, and we'll see how it goes. Sean Barnes should be along shortly, and we'll hopefully have him into the broadcast as well so that we can talk to him about some of the things that he's written for FirstDownline.com as well. You can go there to find out the latest and some of the things that we've been doing. We invite you to tweet us at First Down Line, and that's a thing that you can go to at any point. Go on Twitter and let us know what you're thinking, some of the things that you want to hear from the website, and also you can bring out the sticks. Now, Brett, I'm going to ask you this question. This is an article that I'll get into in just a little bit when we get to our news, but there's an option out there now that's apparently has even been there for the Big Ten Championship, which you being the Wisconsinite that you are probably know a little bit about, but this is basically a chance to reserve your seat at the first ever college football playoff, and you just have to pay whatever the face value is of your team at the time. So it's basically like a live stock market, and it goes through and says, you know what, you are going to go ahead and pay X amount of money, and then you're going to be able to have a face value ticket reserved for you that you'll then have to pay for if your team, in fact, makes the college football playoff championship game. So my question to the audience and to you, Brett, would you buy a ticket to be able to buy a ticket for face value?
Yeah, that'd be a pretty tough decision. You know, obviously, I think you would have to have a little bit of money aside so you wouldn't feel too bad about it if your team doesn't get there. I think for the people that are, trying to make this idea work and run this technology, I think for them, they just hope that as many teams as possible get really hyped up before the season starts. My guess is a lot of fans, if their team isn't being talked about before the season begins a whole lot, and aren't being projected as those 4 teams into the playoff, a lot less of those people are going to be willing to put that money down unless for some reason they just have a really good gut feeling. I mean, maybe that guy last year who put, I forget what it was, 51 odds on Auburn to win the national championship, and he almost, or I think it was higher than that, but, it almost ended up winning just a ridiculous amount of money. So if your team's getting the hype beforehand, I could see some people being talked into doing it. If not, I probably wouldn't do it that particular season. Not to say I wouldn't do it at all, though.
You can let us know. We invite you to reach out and let us know your thoughts. It's easy to do. Just tweet us, First Down Line SchuttVision.com is our Twitter handle, and you can go ahead and take a look at that and let us know what you're thinking about. We put our Twitter feed also available on our website as well, so you can go to our website, FirstDownLine.com, and see our Twitter feed as you want to as well. So that's our Bring Out the Sticks question, and I'll share my opinion because that's the first news topic we have to get to. We're going to talk about your interview with SchuttVision and its founder, rather. JR continued that three-part series with you, Brett. We'll get into that, but the future applications of the technology, a World Cup soccer ball that has 6 cameras built in, which I'm trying to find the practical application of that, but then sometimes technology is not terribly practical anyway. Also, Lincoln, Nebraska. If you want to start up a sports and technology company, apparently Lincoln, Nebraska is your city, and then hopefully we'll have Sean on tap as well so he can talk to us about this iOS app that prevents Tommy John injuries. So if you haven't been to firstdownline.com, we invite you to do so, but I want to show you TeamTix, and this is the website, Brett, as we just talked about, where you can go and look at the national championship game, and you can decide whether or not you want to pay to reserve your seat. You just click this Get Started button, and this has changed since the day that we put the FirstDownLine.com article right here. This technology article seeks to provide face value tickets. You can go to here, and the stock market's completely different than it was when we posted that. The Ducks haven't changed at $70. Alabama has apparently gone down. Florida State's gone up slightly with that little up arrow, but I think it's an interesting concept because, as I wrote in the story, the first time that I had a chance to go to a national championship game would have been when the Ducks made the game in Arizona against Auburn, and we had tickets available to us, airline tickets, at $140 from Portland to Phoenix, and if I pulled the trigger before the USC game when the Ducks were 7-0, they became 8-0 after they beat USC by a 20-point margin. Those tickets skyrocketed, doubled up, and I justified it, my man, by saying I'm not terribly upset because we probably couldn't have bought tickets at face value anyway. It turns out my uncle on my wife's side had face value tickets he offered to us, but I would have had this reserved, ready for me, had I decided to go that route instead. So I think it's a really cool concept, especially because if you think about it, $70, your team has a good shot. Oregon, for example, my alma mater, year in and year out, is in that conversation now. And if you don't make it, well, what's the harm done? You lose $70 per person, I guess, maybe $140 per couple, but that's not a bad wager when you consider the tickets that we could have got at face value for that 2010 game ended up selling for 5 times the value down the road.
Well, and I guess I look at it too. A lot of these programs, if somebody's going to try to go to a national championship game, they maybe have season tickets already, and if there's one regular season game, conference game that they are unable to attend, likely with this scenario, they can sell that one game and completely cover the cost. If they wanted to take the chance, and if you're a big supporter of the team, then that certainly might be worth it. Also, just kind of looking at the article on First Down Line, the screenshot there, if your team maybe isn't among those upper teams and it's a $20 chance, that makes it a lot more feasible and maybe enticing as well to take that risk and maybe in the long run get one heck of a deal.
Yeah, and you can again watch it. I don't know. Do you do stock market? Do you do any investments?
No.
So if you're not doing stuff like that, then I'm sure you're not. I don't either. You're watching markets, but this would be a fun way to kind of navigate the market. And I found it interesting too. If you go to the site and you do buy your TeamTix ticket, which gives you the right to buy the face value actual game ticket, then you can also do like a bidding thing where down the road you can give them the opportunity to buy your ticket, or you could sell it basically that way to someone else. So it's kind of an interesting concept, but if you want to check that story out, go to firstdownline.com, and that one was posted earlier this week. We invite you to check it out. Let's move on to your conversation. SchuttVision, third part of your 3-part series with the founder of the SchuttVision helmet, and you looked at the future applications of this technology.
Yeah, I had about an hour-long conversation with Sports Video Innovation CEO and founder J.R. Liverman, and he's the guy who created SchuttVision, the new fixed camera that you're seeing on a lot of helmets across the country in college football, and even now in some of the spring practices for the NFL. And in this latest piece that I did off of our conversation, just kind of talked to him about, where did he think this technology was going? How soon would it, be implemented in the NFL? Because at least as of now, the NCAA was certainly the I guess the level of play that was getting the SchuttVision the most publicity. But as you see, if you open up the article, Ben Roethlisberger for the Pittsburgh Steelers was wearing one in training camp, and it certainly is a pretty cool idea. But then, kind of in talking to JR in this final episode, if you will, he was just talking about the things that he hopes can maybe come of the technology after football, because I think if it breaks into in-game live feeds the way he hopes it does for football, a lot of other sports and things are gonna come knocking pretty quickly to see how they can use the technology and get their fans also involved and really excited about seeing those firsthand moments within a game. And one of the more interesting ones that I guess I wouldn't have thought of off the top of my head that he brought up was especially with the last leg of the Triple Crown coming up here, was the using it on a jockey helmet, or even potentially getting it mounted on a racing horse somehow. And that would give quite a view that I don't know that too many people have had the opportunity to see or experience, going at that type of speed on the back of a horse. So that would be something I would like to see if it can get to that point.
Here's the shot from the Arena Football League, and we can put that up on the screen, I think, through the YouTube app. If so far that's given me the most problems with trying to get things going here. I thought it was pretty cool that you can see this kind of stuff, from the Arena Football League perspective. A little shaky, but there's nothing that you've gotten like this ever before. Pretty cool stuff. I appreciate JR spending so much time with you, talking more about those applications, and think about the way that the NFL has expanded its ability to get to people through the use of on-field microphones, Brett. Just imagine you get a guy who has an on-field microphone, but also now you can see his perspective right from the middle of his forehead. That's a really cool deal.
Yeah, and what's kind of interesting too about what you just said there, even my fiance, we've talked about when they have the after game, when they have the FX sound or whatever on NFL Network, both of us kind of feel that would be an even cooler way to watch the game, once in a while, and get all the on-field comments and just hear throughout the whole. I mean, obviously there would be some probably censorship issues in terms of language being used on the field and that kind of thing. But that's one of my favorite things to watch after a game has been concluded, is just to kind of get those on-field audio highlights and to be able to mix those in, with live shots from the helmet. Somebody like Patrick Willis for the 49ers, or Clay Matthews coming off the edge and sacking the quarterback and getting that firsthand experience. It's definitely something that I look forward to experiencing or seeing firsthand.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. I like the Sound FX show a whole lot, and I think it would be something that I hope that the NFL does seriously look into. This is the First Down Line podcast. He's Brett Sommers. I am Ryan Goff. We are on Google Hangouts for the first time. This is the recording if you're not seeing this live on June 1st. And what we're going to try to do is for our next episode, which will be June 15th, we'd like to have your participation. You can jump on Google Hangouts with us, ask questions. You can take a look at the FirstDownLine.com articles if you go to that website and see what we've written. And then from there, join the First Down Line podcast. World Cup soccer ball. 6 cameras in a World Cup soccer ball, which I thought was a cool idea, except for then, how are you going to make this thing be balanced when people are kicking it down the pitch, if you will? I have no clue how you're going to be able to focus in on anything, and my fears with that were kind of realized just with a promotional YouTube video from Adidas that I'll try to share with you in just a moment. But what they did was they took the new soccer ball, which is kind of a Adidas and Brazuca mashup, and these are really cool looking balls. I mean, they got awesome color to them, and you can even see there's a commercial that Adidas plays where it shows the evolution of the World Cup soccer ball over the years. But what I liked about the idea is you're going to get some really interesting views that you've never been able to see before, which is a neat idea, but at the same time, this thing's not going to be steady. So the only application I think that will be really cool is getting to see the goal go from someone's foot into the back of the net.
Yeah, I was sort of wondering the same thing, especially, I know soccer players have the skill, when they kick the ball, it doesn't necessarily have to spin at a high rate of speed, but a lot of times it does. So I don't know how that fits into how the camera focuses or rotates, but if the ball's, rotating at a really high rotations per second clip, are you even going to be able to actually see much of anything from the camera?
Don't stop it now. I feel like going wild.
Point. This is the Brazuca commercial.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So here it goes, getting unpackaged and then kicked around, and the last shot right there. I mean, I don't think anyone's actually going to want to see that. I could be wrong, though. So that's the Brazuca story. You can see that right now at FirstDownline.com, and it's a story that we wrote earlier this week. And 6 built-in high-definition cameras. This goes along with a gadget that we're going to share with you a little bit later in the show, the My Coach Smart Ball, which gives you some sensors. But if you could have one thing, Brett, be shown in that kind of vein, I guess, where you're able to see someone's from leg or hand to destination, what would you want to see? Because in the article I wrote Santonio Holmes's catch when he was a Steeler and they beat the Cardinals late in the game. Yeah, you'd be able to see him leaning onto the sideline, or at least watch the ball come into his hands, or at least, if nothing else, leave Roethlisberger, because the sensor or the camera's on the other side, and be able to catch it. So they're putting cameras in everything. I mean, this is kind of a SchuttVision thing if you think about it.
Yeah, that example would certainly be cool. I guess the first one that kind of popped into my head was just to see, a 95-mile-an-hour fastball that gets hung over the plate a little bit, and then, Albert Pujols or Prince Fielder or somebody rockets it into the second deck of some major league stadium. I think that would be, if you were able to, as you mentioned, balance the camera and, work around the rotation of the ball and that type of thing. I think that would be a pretty cool thing to see as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think you'd be able to have some pretty cool implementations of that technology. Let's finish up with one more story. This has to do with starting a business, and this is, I think, a topic that's very close to my heart, because you have some entrepreneurial endeavors that I'm doing. And when you hear that there's a community that's also already a great sports community, talking about the city of Lincoln, Nebraska, then you kind of put two and two together, and you get some pretty cool things coming out of it, in the sense that Lincoln, Nebraska has kind of become this startup sports and technology capital of the world. Cornhuskers and startups, Lincoln embracing sports entrepreneurship was the article that we wrote earlier on FirstDownline.com. You can go there and check it out. But I don't know if you used Huddle software when you were doing high school sports, or as you continue to do that right now. But Huddle was a software that I was able to get in touch with coaches who at the high school level were using the Huddle software, and you can come on the iPad or the iPhone now and be able to watch the game film from the previous week. Huddle, the technology company that does this game film breakdown, was started in Lincoln, Nebraska, and this article from the Omaha World Herald cited a whole bunch of examples where this is being the case. So as I've explored the entrepreneurial world, the startup world, there's different niches or niches, however you want to say, in different cities throughout the United States. But Lincoln has apparently kind of found that sports technology niche, and they're going to continue to grow and grow. So if you're looking to start a sports tech company, head to Lincoln, I guess, is the best advice I have.
It's sort of interesting how a singular community can kind of rally around something so specific, or kind of start to become known for something like that. I think it would just be sort of I don't know the specific Omaha World article that you were citing, if they talked to just people on the street or not, about if they realized that was going on, if it's just they're such a sports minded community that it's a big thing. But it's if a lot of stuff continues to come out of there, even with the University of Nebraska, for example, maybe they'll start using some of those startup ideas as a sort of inter-community promotional type thing.
I think that would be kind of cool, and it was neat too because there's such a contrast with the old of the University of Nebraska being in Lincoln and that sellout streak that started in the 50s at this point, and you have this legendary football program. But what's the mixture of it has these brand new sports and technology companies that are starting up. I thought that was a pretty cool deal. All right, so let's see if this works. I want to get to some downloads to share with you.
FirstDownline.com downloads.
All right, so for our FirstDownline.com downloads, I want to talk about a company called... Whoops. Okay, we're going to have to work on that YouTube part, Brett. That's my fault. But let's talk about some downloads called Thunder Cloud iBench. And this is a new type of technology where these different leagues are able to use a iPad application to start telestrating. It's kind of like Huddle in a sense, but it's live. So the article that I found this through referenced 17 of the 30 NHL teams are using this technology through XOS Digital, which is called Thunder Cloud Bench, and it allows teams to have basically iPads on the sidelines or in the bench and be able to show off some different things with telestration. So if you go, this is from the actual XOS Digital website. If you go here, it shows telestrating to accentuate teaching points in any color or thickness you choose. So on the screen, they could show, this is a Boston game, so Jerome McGinley on the right wing, well, you should have cut into the center as opposed to moving outside of the face-off circle on that particular play or something along those lines. But it's a way to really implement technology into, hockey in this case, but a lot of the sports where you can get some real-time benefit out of it. And I shared this in the piece that we talked about with Drew Bledsoe and how he's a coach in Central Oregon, and they allowed at the high school ranks this year, anyone who has technology to share can go down to the sideline, for instance, and be able to show that off to a coach and say, hey, look at the formations from the opposing team. We need to figure that out. And I equate it to the pictures that have been so long on the side of an NFL sideline, where you're able to see the formations of the defense. You see Peyton Manning with his really red forehead because he apparently can't keep his helmet not smashed against his forehead. He's looking there on the sideline after an interception or whatever the case may be. Those are the kind of things that this app does, but with video footage, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, that's actually what I was going to bring up is, so essentially at some point perhaps this will replace those famous 3-inch binders on the sidelines as you watch them flip frame by frame after they come to the sidelines. That'd certainly be interesting to see. And I guess with the way that playbooks and everything else, game prep and all that has seemed to go the way of the iPad or just digital guys being able to view stuff on the plane, that to bring that technology down onto the sideline like you talked about is sort of the next logical step.
We want to hear your opinion, so as such you can always hold a First Down Line by going to Twitter and hitting us up with tweets. Our Twitter handle is First Down Line, so easy enough to find us there. You can tweet to us using also the hashtag Tech in Sports, but you can tweet us right now at FirstDownLine, and we'll like to implement that again. You're watching a most likely rebroadcast of this episode 4 of the First Down Line podcast, but we'll be able to get your questions and answers down the road and be able to include those in our sessions as well. The other app that I have, and I didn't even ask you, Brett, before we started, so if you have a download to share, don't let me get in the way after I talk about Gritness, which you are a fitness guy. I know that for a fact because you have the weight equipment even in your garage, but there's a website called Gritness that has an iPhone application so that if you don't maybe know the best place to go work out or you can't find a workout buddy, this gives you activities and different things that you can do through an app, and even, as you can see here with accepting payments for events, you'll be able to use this for paid events. So if you're doing a competition or something along those lines, Gritness allows you to be able to take payments for that purpose of getting people together in the name of fitness and being able to bring a community together. So I thought that was a pretty cool app that I saw was certainly available for iOS, and looking at the website, I'm pretty sure it's also available on the Google Play Store.
That does sound pretty cool. Now, did you happen to say who developed that app?
This one, like I said, the name of it is called Gritness. As far as the actual developer, it's a startup. So maybe it was started in Lincoln, Nebraska. No, I'm just kidding. But two guys, as far as I know, were the guys who put it together.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, anything like that, it just depends on, how quickly and how many people you can start to get using it. But I would be curious to see, what types of root efforts have been made in certain communities to really launch that and get it started. Because I think once people, really started using it and, gave it a chance, it sounds like a great idea. I mean, I think, just the ability to, if either you have a different weekend than maybe some of your friends or people you work with, or you just one day you wake up and are looking for something to do but don't really know anything that's going on, to be able to just log on to your phone and see any kind of, athletic activity or outdoors event or something, that's going on in your area that you can go to, that's pretty convenient.
Yeah, totally on board with that, and I agree. There's a website that I've stumbled across called Meetup, which there's outdoor enthusiasts doing things like that, but this is an iPhone app, and it's specifically targeted toward that. Again, I'm going to use the word niche, but that's what it is. It's a niche for people who embrace that kind of lifestyle and want to get fitter. So I thought that was a pretty cool deal. Did you have a download? I didn't ask you before we got started, but did you have anything that you've been using that's a sports and technology related item?
I guess one that I haven't really used it a whole lot lately, though I'm certainly willing to go back to it, is just this fitness radio app. And, instead of either having to set up your own playlists or, switch songs or whatever in the middle of your workout that might distract you, theoretically what this is supposed to do is develop its own playlist and sort of tailor it to, how high intensity of a workout level based on the beats per minute of the songs and things that you want. And then, with just your regular songs, then it also actually has, I don't know if they work for this Fit Radio but they have like DJs that do their own special mixes of songs to like try to keep it fresh and interesting and keeping it going. And I used it for a little while, and just, one of those things that, you sort of get away from the habit of doing. But I did find that kind of interesting, and I'll have to go back and check that out and see if it, what more I can get out of it.
Yeah, let's share that on the Facebook, or rather, the Facebook and the Twitter pages probably. Well, once you find that link, we'll go ahead and post that up there so people can find it. Our Facebook page, facebook.com/FirstDownLine, and then also twitter.com/FirstDownLine.
FirstDownLine.com. Gadgets.
I found this My Coach Smart Ball, which I almost didn't want to do because we've done a story already about the tennis racket that has sensors built into it, so if you want to be able to track your forehand or your backhand or whatever the case may be. But with the World Cup coming, I decided to share this gadget. It's called the My Coach Smart Ball, and you see it on your screen. This has to do with the World Cup and Adidas figuring out, I think, a great marketing strategy to unleash something like this right about World Cup time. But with strides already in soccer so far with the goal line technology that will be in place during the World Cup, and you can see how FIFA is preparing to use that with the video that we shared at FirstDownline.com. This is something that allows you to figure out different statistics, different analytics about your soccer game. It pairs up, as you can see here, with the player's Apple devices and information for tracking, and then it also has a challenge component. So basically, it will allow you to do different levels of activity to try to accomplish certain goals, which is kind of an in vogue way to do a lot of the stuff anyway, with collecting badges or whatever the case may be. So if you're looking to increase your soccer game, go to My Coach, which is a pretty cool gadget that I found.
Yeah, and I think My Coach is sort of an Adidas brand that's trying to do a whole lot of other things. That's I don't, at least now, do a whole lot of running. I don't enjoy running just to run. But there was also a My Coach app that I've used in the past that's, like a lot of them out there for tracking your runs and that kind of stuff. So I'm sure it seems like they're putting a lot of effort into their particular, sports apps and sports technology stuff. So maybe they found something here. Any
other things that you want to add in the gadgets realm? It looks like we didn't get Sean on, which might have had some confusion with the time, which is no big deal. You can definitely see the article right now talking about the Dr. James Andrews app that's called Throw Like a Pro, and it's designed to try to create awareness and give techniques to reduce the amount of Tommy John surgeries, because that's becoming kind of an epidemic in youth baseball. So since Sean couldn't join us, be sure to go to firstdownline.com and look at that. Anything else you want to add, my man?
Oh, I think we kind of did pretty good covering a lot today, doing a lot of new stuff. Hopefully some of the viewers out there enjoyed what we're doing, and we can get some other people involved in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you can tweet us. FirstDownline is our Twitter handle, so we'd love to hear not only any feedback. Again, the website's designed to be something that you will use, and you want to hear articles that, or see articles and hear videos and hear audio that makes sense to you. We want to get your feedback. You can also email us, fdl@firstdownline.com as well. So we want the website to work for you. Also, we want you to bring out the sticks, and that is the question of the week, which would be, would you buy a ticket, would you pay money to basically reserve your chance to buy a face value ticket for the college football championship game? I would probably say yes, just because I had a chance to go and it didn't work out. So I think yes, it's just kind of a risk reward kind of deal. Thank you, Brett. Thanks
for having me.
And you can follow him more at BA Sports Writer. It's his Twitter handle, twitter.com/BA Sports Writer. And I think we're kind of losing some bandwidth, so I think we're going to call it a day, and you can contact us for the next FirstDownline.com podcast, which is available at FirstDownline.com.
That's it for the FirstDownline.com podcast. Check out more at our webpage at FirstDownline.com.